car 75-4 to station 75.
Houghton Lake to 75-4. Go ahead.
I'm 2 miles south of the post and heading in. I found the Smith child, tired and apparently unharmed.
Okay, car 75-4.
Okay.
However, when the state trooper must, for public safety, become the aggressor. Thousands of dangerous criminals sought by city, state, or federal law enforcement agencies have been brought to justice by the state police. Another name for a member of this organization, be he trooper, corporal, sergeant, or higher, is highway cop. Plus a few choice adjectives that violators occasionally mutter along with it. Yes, this is the big job, guarding the public on the highway, enforcing the laws that citizens have enacted for their own protection, and giving direct assistance to thousands of troubled motorists. Responsibilities carried by the state police, none is taken more seriously than the protection of human life and property against the felonious criminal. By act of the legislature, criminal law enforcement in the state is cemented together by the men and facilities of the state police. Together they work on every crime in the book: arson, robbery, assault, and murder. Any car, including this one, may be an unreported stolen automobile. And no state policeman can ever afford to forget that a stolen car is the one form of transportation almost invariably chosen by the criminal. The chances are hundreds to one that here is another good citizen, except, of course, for that heavy foot on the gas pedal. It almost always turns out to be a routine affair like this. But the violator may be a felon who is wanted by a dozen states as well as the FBI. Not too long ago, this state trooper may have been a farmhand, mechanic, or college senior. He wasn't too sure of being accepted by the state police, but just the same, he applied. Examiners found that he did have the required physical soundness, the strength, agility, and intelligence required of a state trooper. Together with scores of other successful applicants, he was accepted for admission to the police training school. And at last, he found himself in uniform. Training uniform, that is. With rigorous weeks of education between him and that coveted badge. Because every trooper is basically a lawman, he will receive weeks of training in the use of the service revolver. art of self-defense, even against the bone-crushing strength of a maniac. And in this kind of training, a grade of 70 isn't passing. It must end in capture and arrest. The authority to make an arrest is weighted with legal responsibilities. The trooper must carry out his duty with full respect and protection for the rights of the person being placed under arrest. Legal training in the rules of evidence represents still another major part of the state policeman's schooling. As a result of this legal education, together with careful training in police sciences, more than 90% of all arrests made by state troopers result in convictions. Days are spent in the crime laboratory for scientific training. And here he learns to work in partnership with crime detection specialists. The trainee is taught the basic principles of fingerprint classification and the exacting technique of rolling fingerprints so that a clear, complete pattern results for every finger printed. The trooper must know how to dust and lift fingerprints when he's working alone. Understand the process by which the Identification Bureau can compare fingerprint evidence with fingerprints in the files. Evidence observed and protected by state policemen working at the scene of a crime not only helps to identify a criminal, it is of vital importance to the state in securing a conviction. In addition, the recruit is trained in securing, handling, and preserving other types of evidence. He studies the expert comparison of handwriting specimens, which have been obtained by a trooper in the course of an investigation. He witnesses the identification of marijuana, a narcotic weed which is commonly the first step on the path to dope addiction. Evidence which the trooper is trained to obtain includes specimens of materials, often deadly poisons, blood, mineral substances, cloth, paper, or filings. He sees how they are analyzed in chemical reaction tests and by other scientific methods. From members of the detective division, the police student discovers the value of the polygraph, better known as a lie detector. This device is sometimes invaluable in proving the guilt of the guilty and the innocence of the innocent. After weeks of professional education, the day finally comes when they have earned the right to wear the service uniform of the state police and the symbol of authority. Each man receives his badge from the commissioner, usually in the presence of the governor. The new trooper begins his career as a state policeman with a 6 months probationary appointment. And during this period, he works at all times with a senior officer. At the the end of 6 satisfactory months, his appointment is confirmed. But for 18 more, he is still considered to be in training. He will work with sheriff's deputies on dozens of varied assignments. He will race the stork to various hospitals. And sooner or later, if he does it often enough, he will lose. Through these and thousands of other experiences, he will develop into a resourceful public servant and an able officer of the law. Crime is prevented by millions of miles of patrol activity, which penetrates every rural nook and cranny of the state. Among the most elusive of all criminals is the arsonist. Months of unobtrusive effort are often required by members of the State Police Fire Marshal Division to track down one firebug. But there is one crime where the public is in on the act from the very start, where law enforcement facilities are mobilized immediately over a wide area, and where success or failure is measured not in months, nor weeks, nor days, but in terms of minutes. Armed robbery, which demands a crime blockade. The event simulated here to reveal the blockade mechanism of the state police may begin like this.
Okay. Car 10-1. Robbery alarm, Community National Bank. Repeat to car 101. Robbery alarm, Community National Bank. Car 101, on the way.
Police. We've been robbed. Armed bandits, 2 of them. They've killed the cashier. Shot him 4 times. They're escaping in the car driven by a 3rd man. Glad to see you, boy.
Blanton Police to State Police Post 27. 27 Pontiac to Blanton. Go ahead. The Community National Bank has been robbed by 2 armed bandits now escaping in getaway car driven by 3rd man.
cashier killed by gunfire. That's all we have.
Okay, give us the details as soon as you can. Pontiac to East Lansing.
East Lansing to Pontiac, go ahead.
An armed robbery and murder at the Blanton Community National Bank, 2:45 p.m. Armed robbery and murder at the Blanton Community National Bank, 2:45 p.m. 2 bandits and driver made getaway in car, no description. 2 bandits and driver made getaway in car, no description. Stand by, more coming in. Cashier killed, estimated loss 5 to 8,000.
Okay.
Cashier killed, estimated loss 5 to 8,000. Still no description of bandits, but expected soon. Tan pants and brown shoes. Tan pants and brown shoes. Getaway car has been identified as a red and white late model Mercury sedan. Getaway car has been identified as a red and white late model Mercury sedan. Michigan license E. Edward P. Paul 8958. Michigan license E. Edward P. Paul 8958. Last seen headed west on M218. Last seen headed west on M218.
So the blockade begins. A gigantic geographic man trap.
Michigan license E. Edward P. Paul 8958. Michigan license E. Edward P. Paul 8958. Last seen headed west on M218.
Trousers and brown shoes. The third man is tentatively identified. The third man is tentatively identified as Carp Jensen. As Carp Jensen, wanted for murder, robbery, and escape. Wanted for murder, robbery, and escape on 3 fugitive warrants.
We have a complete blockade of this area, Captain. The getaway car was abandoned here, about a mile south of Tyrus. The only information we have on the present car is that it has 616 snow treads. It may be a light truck.
Fugitives headed north on US 23. Fugitives headed north on US 23. A red Ford panel truck stolen from the BJ Chemical Company at Pontiac. A red Ford panel truck stolen from the BJ Chemical Company at Pontiac.
Seen at 4:03 p.m. Seen at 4:03 p.m. headed north on US 23 at a high rate of speed in a red Ford panel truck.
A search area of more than 5,000 miles of farms, lakes, and forests, with a labyrinth of roads to comb, in the hunt for an unknown vehicle, is now pinpointed to one red panel truck trapped in a 30-mile triangle.
Also PD.
And the mesh of the net continues to tighten.
Shiawassee County Sheriff, one car in M21 west of 13, one car in M78 and M71. Station 22, one car in M21 west of M24, one car in M24 west of M181. Saginaw PD, one car in M13 at Plymouth.
Fugitives headed north on US 23. Fugitives headed north on US 23. A red Ford panel truck stolen from the BJ Chemical Company at Pontiac. A red Ford panel. Now held at county jail. Money recovered intact. Money recovered intact. Blockade over. Return to your post or resume previous assignment. Blockade over. Return to your post or resume previous assignment.
Wednesday, July the 23rd, 1986.
From NBC News, this is a special edition of Today. The Royal Wedding with Bryant Gumbel and Jane Pauley, live from London.
And good morning. Welcome to a very special edition of Today on this Wednesday morning. It's a day where we are getting set from a wedding, and yes, that is Buckingham Palace behind us. We're about 25 minutes from now. Queen